All right, people, Sniper Sports, we're back. Live from the 808, we shoot you straight. It's that time, NBA playoffs. We're just kind of, I'd say, halfway, maybe a little closer through the first round. There's some teams that are already out, and some teams are still going. First round matchups can be tricky. Sometimes it's, just a complete mismatch, and other series are pretty close. A couple tied at 2-2 there, but we're going to go ahead and start with our Los Angeles Lakers, and watching the game tonight, Steven. What can I say? They just couldn't get it done. At least they got one game right. They didn't get swept. It was a gentleman's sweep. But they did bow out to the Denver Nuggets, the champs, losing Game 5 tonight by 2 points. Damn you, Jamal Murray. But he just hit another, nice one late in the game. But I can't even really be mad at my Lakers. I thought they gave a valiant effort. I just really think Denver is that good, Steven.
Okay.
They're just so complete all the way around. They don't panic. The Lakers actually led at half all 5 games against the Denver Nuggets and just weren't able to hold on to that lead for whatever reason. LeBron almost had a 30-point triple-double tonight. Excuse me, but in all, they just couldn't get over the hump. I just think it's Denver's time. The ascendance of Michael Porter Jr., the way he's scoring more and at a timely pace. Jamal Murray controlling the game late, him and Joker with the two-man game. Joker, another monster game, 20 rebounds tonight. And, I just think it's very likely Denver could repeat. I know Boston's really tough over there in the East, Steven, but as far as coming out of the West, who's going to stop Denver?
I totally agree with you. Like, in the sense of Denver, I think they're such a complete team. You have a great coach over there who has his team's just so confident in their play to understand, like, hey, some nights it's going to be one person's night. It's not always going to be your night. But to have that understanding where they're playing as a team. They want to win as a team. It's not about Joker getting all the points or the rebound or Murray. Anyone can get a hot night. And
sure, collectively.
Just all around, they have their stars. They have their bench and just guys who can come off and really contribute to the team, and I can applaud them for that.
Yeah.
So moving on with that, with the Lakers. I really don't feel the same sentiments with Joey. I can't stand the Lakers right now because for how many years already we've built this team around where I feel AD is not that guy. I voiced my opinion before. We should have traded him a long while ago. We haven't. I still think he's a great player. But I think it's on management to where they need to stop building around LeBron. I think LeBron is an unbelievable player. As Joey pointed out tonight, almost a triple-double. This man's almost 40 years old. I give him all the credit in the world on what he does and what he continues to do. But we can't build around him anymore. We just cannot build around this guy. If he wants to stay and wants to play at the Lakers, that's fine. But as a fan, I think I want our relevancy to not be that we have LeBron and AD and get all these hopes up that, we're thinking that Austin Reeves is going to do anything or Gabe Vincent's going to do anything. We trade for Spencer Dinwiddie and we did anything. Why do we trade for him when he's not even playing that much? He hasn't really been a focal point, as we talked about before in the stuff.
Darvin's really not working him in the lineup well.
So is it Darvin Ham? You hear about Darvin Ham and making these, with D'Lo and him not getting along or whatever the case may be. I think management really needs to take a step back and where we want to take this team in the next couple of years. Are we just trying to be relevant just because we have LeBron and AD, or do we want to be relevancy of making the playoffs and not have to worry about making the play-in to get into the playoffs? Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, look at the Clippers. I can't stand the Clippers, but I respect them in enough sense to where, I look at their bench and they always have a decent bench, and they have 4 players that require a lot of salary. It's just frustrating, and they're always like the 3rd or 4th seed, or maybe even the 5th seed, where they make in the playoffs to make it into the playoffs. This is a younger league that we're going to talk about, younger faces that are coming up, and we need to get some of these younger players and younger faces so we can be relevant again, as the Lakers are and should be in the NBA.
Slayed that, Steven. I hear you there.
Yeah.
Staying in the West Coast or Western Conference was a sweep. Kind of shocked to me. The Phoenix Suns, right? The Phoenix Suns getting swept by probably one of the most exciting players in the playoffs thus far this year, Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know you had a chance to watch a few of those games.
Definitely.
Your thoughts or take on that series, and were you surprised that KD, Beal, Booker just got swept?
Definitely. I think it's a very big surprise. I think, I'll let you touch it more on the whole
Okay.
Phoenix thing. I know that's something that you wanted to talk about. But just on the surface of it, I think you are. When you have three of these superstars, especially with Beal, I'm very disappointed in Beal. This is like his first real playoff experience. Man, he didn't even show up. He didn't really do anything, really. And it's just so disappointing to see that in him. Even with Booker and with KD, just to see them kind of get manhandled in a sense, to get swept by Minnesota, it's shocking. But again, as we talked about before, this is a younger league coming up. Now we have all these
That
young
is
guys
true.
who have been in the league for 3, 4, 5 years now, making a name for themselves as Anthony Edwards. And I think with Minnesota, you've seen them struggle for so long, and now I think they finally found the right player in Anthony Edwards. You see Cat being over there, not having to be the main focus. I think he's
Yes.
so much more successful being that second or third option. Rudy Gobert can score whatever he may need be, but he's a great defender. You've seen some of these role players like Mike Conley, as once was a top point guard, but now he's filling that role. McDaniels is another one who I really like, and I think there's a statement there that has
Yeah,
to be
Jaden
said
McDaniels is coming up.
where Jerry talked about with Denver and with Minnesota. Not only do they have star players, but they have great backups. They have great people coming off the bench. They have those second or third options that are just right there for them consistently.
Yep.
And that's just been the main thing that I've seen with some of these successful teams, is just consistency and what they have on the bench. So is it shocking? Yes. Is their time over? That's for another episode, sir. But you go right ahead. I know you've
Thank
been
you, Steven.
licking at the chops for this one.
I have, because I was really disappointed in Phoenix, Steven, but I think that, the beginning might have been the end when they constructed this roster. Look, you're not always going to be successful when you just start picking the best players, and I think that's what Phoenix did, right? If you remember when they acquired KD from Brooklyn, they depleted their bench. They traded Cam Johnson away. They traded Mikal Bridges. Cameron Payne left soon after that. I think he's with Milwaukee now. Anyways, Phoenix depleted their bench, and I think Beal and Booker kind of provide much of the same. KD is KD. I mean, he's dropped a little bit, but he's still a very good player. But you don't have any defense here, Steven. And I'll tell you where they got killed against the T-Wolves is inside the paint. Points in the paint, they got killed. Rebounds, they got killed. They got Rudy Gobert looking like a first-team All-Pro, All-Star. They just had no answer for him. They have no big man, and they have no depth and no bench. And I have to totally agree with you what you said about Beal. You think he would have came out of the gate like gangbusters, right? All those years in Washington where you're not making the playoffs, usually in Cancun this time of year. And you just think that he would be more hyped up, kind of like Russell Westbrook. But he wasn't. He was very flat this series. And I'm really shocked that the Phoenix Suns got swept. I think they might even have made a mistake when they let Monty Williams go. I think a Chris Paul-led Phoenix Suns would have been much better than the product we got. So I'm sorry, I got to give you a little, Phoenix. I got to give you a little, little criticism there. That's what I saw. On the flip side of that, Anthony Edwards, this young talent, is emerging. I think he averaged like 29 points per game during this series. And like as Steven lamented to earlier, it really wasn't that, one player had to take over and score all the points. It was really a team game, a well-rounded game. They have the pieces they need. Mike Conley, a trusted vet. Jaden McDaniels coming off the bench, young player providing some good minutes and points when needed. Cat, he's been there a while. Karl Anthony Towns. Now everything isn't on his shoulders. He's getting a lot of help from Edwards and some of the other guys. So I'm really excited to see what Minnesota's going to do in this second round. In fact, Steven, they're going to play the champs, right? They're going to play the Denver Nuggets, who just eliminated our Lakers in the second round, and I'll definitely be watching that matchup. I'm not ready to go out on a limb and say Minnesota's going to beat them, because I think Denver is looking unstoppable coming out of the West. But I'm very interested to see how Anthony Edwards is going to do with that young squad and the momentum they carry on from just sweeping Phoenix.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
For sure.
But I think continue on with some of these younger players and what this league is turning out to. I think you see it with OKC. They're about to, I feel,
Right.
about to sweep, or they're taking care of
Pels.
business with the Pelicans. So, kudos to them and what they're doing. That young roster. Hopefully they can stay together. And SGA is playing great. Chet, Giddey, all of those guys. So
Agree. You see why they're the number 1 seed coming out of the West.
Exactly. Another team I think that's young is making some noise is a Magic. They were looking kind of scary being down 0-2, but they come back, won some home games. They're looking stronger than ever. Another guy I know that you like that I wasn't a particularly fan of thinking that he could do stuff, but Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
With the New York Knicks, and I think they're up 3-1 against the
Up
Sixers.
3-1, Steven. He had 47 the other night.
47.
I mean, we haven't seen a smaller player do that since like Iverson in the playoffs.
Exactly, but I think it's alluding to what you're saying. I think you even with Jalen Brunson them and the Knicks,
Excuse me.
they have a great bench. You see a lot of people stepping up and
Yeah.
contributing, and I think that's the main goal that we're saying here is if you want to have a chance in this league, you need a bench. You need a great bench to come off and give your star players some rest.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And thank God it's about time, right, New York fans? I mean, the Knicks, it's a story franchise. It's about time you have a little success in the playoffs.
exactly.
Looks like they're going to get past Philly in round 1. They're currently up 3-1.
Exactly. And some on the sadder news, I mean, you're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think everyone.
Yeah, what a disappointment there with injuries.
all 3 of their star players, Middleton, Giannis, and Dame, all out. I'm just waiting to see what Doc Rivers' excuse is going to be out for this one, but that's for another time and
Yeah,
place.
I mean, he won't have too many excuses. It's injuries or injuries. What are you going to do? It was
Exactly.
funny. I was thinking about Doc right before you said that, but yeah, just too bad. Dame Lillard finally gets to Milwaukee, and I hear he's wearing a walking boot, and Giannis is banged up. I don't know. It looks like the Pacers, they're up 3-1 currently against the Bucks.
How the
So-
tides have turned.
Right? It might be all about next season for Milwaukee.
Exactly. But I think, what me and Joey kind of saying is this is a year where you're really seeing these younger guys come about. A lot of
Yes.
injuries. These young boys are making a statement, and it's kind of interesting the changing of the guard. I don't think a lot of us are ready
Right.
for it or prepared, but it has come, and
It is such a changing of the guard. It's funny. Here we are in the first round of the playoffs. Not even done with the first round, and already by KD, by LeBron. Steph didn't even make it. I think they lost the plan, if I'm right.
they did.
So, all the stars that are traditionally this time of year, leading their teams. No Steph Curry, no LeBron James, no KD. But we do have Anthony Edwards. We do have Tyrese Halliburton.
We do.
We do have, some of these new young players. You know what I mean? Spider Mitchell in Cleveland. So it's
Paulo.
kind of cool to watch. Paulo,
So-
Brunson in New York. We'll see how things go.
Definitely. But yeah, that's all we have for now.
That's about all we have, people. But hey, we appreciate your comments. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
Hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. We appreciate all your